All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to our next speaker. She is a true people person, a life enthusiast. I love this, an ambassador for love from Southern California. The lady that coined the term, I can, I will, I'm worth it, whose drive is to make the world a better place, one person at a time, by teaching self love, inspiring, and encouraging and influencing. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Bolding.
Hey there, everybody. Good afternoon and happy Saturday. Thank you for having me here. First and foremost, I want to say to the speakers that have already came up and those that are to come, wow, I am in a place with some great people. And I knew that they were great, but hearing them speak today, great job, you guys. And I'm so glad to be here and share the stage with you. John Tellerico, Les Brown, what can I say? I could go on forever, but I won't because we are on a time limit. So I hope today has brought you nothing but reasons to smile. And if it hasn't, I can guarantee you that by the time I leave here today, you will have either laughed with me or at me. And I'm okay with both because you deserve it. Before I share with you a story of how I was digging in the dumpsters for recycling as a grown woman and how I came back from that, I want to ask you a few questions. Have any of you ever felt like you did everything that you could, everything right, and things still didn't work out? Anybody? Or maybe you look around and it seems like everybody around you is getting breaks and blessings except you. Or maybe life has knocked you so far down that you're on your knees saying, God, why me? Anybody? Has anybody ever experienced any of that? Phew, okay. I was beginning to think I was here alone, so I'm glad that you're here with me. Well, before I share that experience with you, I want to give you 4 key words that made all the difference in the world of how digging in that dumpster could have broke me, but it actually worked out for me. So if you're out there today and you're struggling and you feel like you can't get up from where you are, or you feel like you're on your knees asking God, why me? I believe in you and you can get up. Stay with me today. Take notes, thoughts. Go ahead and write that down. Thoughts. So there I was, speechless at life. And if you know me, a loss of words and being speechless is never my problem. But I was hit. I was hit hard by life. Now, life had already given me an interesting start as it was. I was a 4-pound baby, born to a drug-using mother who dies when I'm 6 years old. I'm in and out of foster care. I get abused in every sense of the word. But with determination, and most certainly God, I managed to keep going. But this time, it was different. I was a grown woman. I had experienced success. I had sorted out life's difficulties. I'd taken myself to college. I was in high demand in my medical field. And there I was. It was like a thief in the night. Something happened so tragic that didn't even know who I was anymore. I was broke. I couldn't get a job. I didn't even know who I was. Has anybody ever experienced that? Have you ever had some tragic moment happen in your life and you're like, who am I? Whose life is this? And you just get paralyzed? Anybody? Well, as days went on, I did my best to stay calm, which really meant trying to control my anxiety to a level of being able to breathe. Not many people knew that this was going on with me. How do you tell people who knew you as this to say, hey, I have no money. I have no food to eat. My lights, they're turned off. My gas, it's about to get turned off too. Oh, and my car, it's being repoed right now as we speak. You just don't tell people that. No, what you do is you crawl in bed and you don't get up. You lay there. And when you look in the mirror and you're looking for that very person that you've seen, that you built, took all these years to build and put together, you see her as nobody. She's shattered. She broke right before my eyes. The very person that I had built from scratch, she broke. It's not an easy thing to do. And going to bed hungry, well, you just don't win at that. You just simply fall asleep. Believe. Write that down. I had to believe that there was more to life. I had to believe that life was more than some sick twist and a survival game. I had to believe. And this is where things started to change. I was talking with somebody and they were discussing with me life and asking me about my life and my life story. And all I had was stories of crisis and survival, crisis and survival, crisis and survival. And at the end of one of my stories, he ever so politely looked me in my eyes and he leaned forward and he said, "What if you change your story?" That question changed everything. Now, it took me a few days because I judged it, right? You know how we do. What if I change my story? He doesn't know what I've been through. He doesn't know my life. He doesn't know what I've got through. He doesn't know me. He doesn't understand. Yeah, so I judged it. Well, after that, I actually opened up to it. I opened up to that. And what I had realized is I had sold myself on the story of crisis and survival. I had literally become the heroine in my story. I had learned to honor that part of me. And what I didn't realize is I was attracting more reasons to be that heroine, more reasons to be in crisis and survival. And when I looked at it that way, I said, oh, I have to believe that there's a better story for me. I have to believe that there's this other life that I haven't even touched yet. Yeah, I had to believe that. Decide, write that down. So there I was the next day in the line at the recycling center. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to inner city recycling centers, but they're not the most welcoming. You can smell urine and beer and the conversations, well, you wouldn't want those to go home with you. So there I stood with me in my big black bag, standing in line. And it was like time stopped. Everything got quiet. And I made a decision that day. I decided not from pride, but out of purpose. And I said, I am not going to be here anymore. This is not my fate. And me in that black bag, well, we got home as quick as we could. I turned on Les Brown in my audiobooks and I blared him through my speakers. And from that morning, like clockwork, I kept doing that. And when he would get to the part about life, I would stop what I was doing and I would stand still. And he would say, and when life knocks you down, because it will, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. And I did just that. I got up, but I got up strong and I got up new and I got up ready to tell my new story, to create my new story. As days went on, I realized I got up with more purpose. I got up ready. I read so much. I read books from front to back. I read one book after another. I had studied. I did the work. I got up and I imagined how I wanted my story. I take long walks. I go 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. I would stop and smell the flowers. Nothing had changed yet. My circumstance hadn't changed, but I started believing in this new story. And as I was twirling around in the wind one day, because I do that often, and as I twirled around in the wind, I said, Amy, if this is our story, and we're creating it, and we're in charge of this new story, what is something you've always wanted to do? What is something you've never had the belief to do? What is something that you just haven't had the courage, the guts to do? And my mind said, acting. Okay, you guys, that's not what I thought my mind was going to say. Come on now. So I don't know if any of you have ever tried to go and get an acting gig, much less one with a speaking role, and to get an IMDb credit. Yeah, well, I did it. I certainly did. Look at God. Look at what happens when you decide to believe in your story and decide to follow your dreams. The real faith, not the Sunday to Monday faith, but the real faith. Yes. The mindset reset, the freedom, the joy. It wasn't as much about the acting as much as it was when you make a decision to believe in yourself, you become limitless. Yes. There's somebody out there right now, you want to feel that way. You want to feel renewed by life. You want to feel like you can do what it is, anything. You want to feel limitless. I know you do. Anybody out there want to fall in love with life again? Regardless of your circumstance, regardless of what you've seen, regardless of what you've been told, there's somebody out there today who wants to feel that freedom of life again. Say yes. Put that in the chat. Write this down. Because I literally went from, just so I can take you back, I literally went from recycling centers to casting calls. Remember that. That's pretty big. Own it. Write that down. Own it. Once I got to this new fire to me, greatness just became a chain reaction of wanting to do more and more into my true self. I knew if I could do that, well, there was a whole lot of things that I could do that I had never even thought of. I wish I could tell you it was the easiest transition and that it's been the easiest transition in the world, but it hasn't. I am still becoming. And what I have learned is becoming is greater than being. The difference now is that it's worth it. I own my true self. I own every part of my story, and I'm going to keep on creating it. I created my trademark while I was down there on that bottom floor. I created my trademark. I can, I will, I'm worth it. And those words were the words that I followed when I picked myself up off that ground. I created a business, the Bold Movement. And because some people ask, why the Bold Movement? Because when we really choose ourselves, and when we really go into believing in ourselves and taking steps forward, that takes a bold movement. Yes, it does. Most of all, I was able to own myself fearlessly and confidently. Now, if you're struggling out there today to get from pain to peace, from emptiness to fulfillment, from broken to renewed, from past to present, I have a program that may help you get there. Here's what I know. You can't stay with yourself in that dark place for long. You can't. It doesn't do you any good. And more importantly, there's a whole nother world that's out here for you. You're here to deliver a gift. You have something I don't have. You have something nobody else has. What you have is unique to you, and you're here to deliver it. So if you need somebody to go with you, because we weren't meant to do this alone. In fact, one of my favorite quotes is an African proverb that says, if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I'm here to help you with that. Remember to tell yourself at least 2 times a day, I can, I will, and I am so worth it. Oh, and people do ask me, why do you go by Lady Boulding? I'll tell you why. Because had I left it to life, had I left it to the story that I once believed, or even to the experiences that I endured, life would have made me a monster. But because God is love and his grace kept me, he kept me a loving lady. God bless you. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I encourage you to follow me. You can go to my website at theboldmovement.org. You can follow me on Instagram, Lady Boulding. You can follow me on my podcast, I Can, I Will, I'm Worth It. You can follow me at YouTube Live, Lady Boulding Live, and Facebook, Amy Boulding. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I hope some of you got a little bit of faith and courage today. Hi, Barry. Thank you for having me, and you're doing a great job today. I'm glad you're our MC.
Oh, thank you. And your story resonates with me. And I love the fact that the bold movement, because, I always say that to be successful in life, it requires boldness. And you are the epitome of that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.